Hi, I want to talk to you today about different tunings for your cigar box guitar. I know a lot of you like me will tend to play in G, D, G, open G. I've been using these Zilpha strings from Chicken Bone John. These strings are 42 wound, 32 wound and 24 wound. They're called a tight top, loose low, and they have quite a nice action for slide guitar, and that's why I've been using them. But as I've been doing more finger picking lately and trying to do bends, these strings are a little bit heavy for that, so I'm going to change them out and put some new strings on. But before I do, I thought I'd have a go at doing some different tunings with these strings. So if we start with G, D, G, this is what it kind of sounds like. So I'm now going to try raising that bottom string to A. So at the moment it's G, D, G, and I'm going to go up to A. So I'm just going to turn the tuner using my Snart clip-on tuner, my trusty friend here, which is clipped on the end of my guitar. Up to G sharp. I always get slightly nervous when I'm tuning strings up. I don't mind tuning strings down, but I'm always slightly worried that they're going to break. But normally I'm thinking that one tone will not make too much of a difference and it's not really at risk of breaking. So now this string is the same as a 6-string guitar, not the bottom 3 strings, but not the E string at the bottom, but then the A string, the D string and the G string. It's not a particularly useful tuning for me, I don't think. Although I have played 6-string guitar, I find it a bit confusing to try and think of missing out the bottom note and the top 2 notes. I'd find it easier playing the bottom 3 strings or the top 3 strings. I just find these middle tunings slightly different. Like if I was going to play a G chord, I would put my finger there, there and there. So I suppose that is a G major chord. And then C would be C, that's it. D7 would be, oh yeah, actually this is quite cool. So we've got that for G, that for D7 and that for C. Okay. Is really cool. I hadn't expected that. I just thought this would be a really boring thing and not what you could do, but I might actually explore that tuning a bit more. So that's G major, C major and D7th, and then back to G. Okay, anyway, moving on. So now I made a note here of all the tunings I'm trying. So that was A, D, G. Now I'm going to go to A, E, G. So that means I need to take my middle string up to E. I'm slightly worried, as I say. I'm keeping well away as I tune up. That's D sharp. So now I'm in A, E, G. That's a kind of weird chord. Now that's a jazz chord. Normally when we're playing open tuning, we have the 1-5-1 like G, D, G or A, B, E or D, A, D. But this is a 1-5-7 chord. So now I'm playing a jazz chord of 1, 5 and then the 7th note. So that's kind of power 7th chord, I suppose, a jazz chord. Again, surprisingly a nice sound. I wonder what it would be like with the 2nd fret, because that's the minor of the 5th, so like the 3rd fret. Again, surprisingly nice chords. Right, now we're going to try something different. I'm going to raise the top string now to A. So that will take me into open A. So I've got A, E, and I'm going to take this G up to A. Now, this is quite a... I hope this G string is not going to stretch. It's getting quite tight. It's nearly there. It does feel quite tight. I'm a bit worried. There we are. I'm there. So that's A. So we're back into 1-5-1 again. Bright sound, I quite like that. I'm a bit worried that those are a little bit tight. I think I would have used different strings for that. I'm going to go back down to G, D, G now. Right, now guitar chords, guitar strings even, don't like being changed too much, so I am putting these at risk by stretching them so many times in such a short time. But I am going to change these strings. I won't cut them as I take them off, because I'm going to try and put them on a fretless instrument that I made and try them to see how well they work for slide guitar. Right, the next tune I'm going to try then is down to E, B, E, which again is in our 1-5-1 setting. I've done this before in another video. So taking this down to B and down to E. Well, it does take a bit of time to sort out that, and I'm not sure if they're going to hold their notes very well, but anyway. So this is back to the 1-5-1, and I do like EBE, particularly with these slightly heavier strings. They just feel really nice to play. And you can play all the strings, all the things that you normally play in your G, D, G tuning. You just have to remember that as you strum an open chord, instead of being a G, it's down to an E. So if you play this chord, instead of that being a C, you just count 2 notes down and it goes to an A. And then this is a B chord. So you've got E, A and B. It's not too difficult to work out what chords you want to be playing in. If you are tuning to a different tuning, I would suggest that you first of all just carry on playing the same shapes. Now if you want to actually get the same pitch in a different tuning, on my website I have got more and more, I'm adding things of different ways of playing chords in E, open E and open D. I'm trying to do different things to help. If you have something in particular that you would like transposed, I could show you how to do that. So just put it in the comments. So we're down to EBE. Right, now we're going to go down again. We're going to go down to DAD. Oh dear. Do you know, one of the things I notice when I'm doing a lot of different tuning is that the different strings do affect each other, because like I had that D in tune and yeah, it went sharp when I loosened the other ones. So you can see that the whole tension on the neck does play into it. out of tune again. Oh, it hasn't. I would say that these strings now are tuned down so low they're getting a bit floppy and they just don't sound nicely in tune. So if you're going to go down to D, A, D, I would suggest that you start with different strings. I've got a list here of what guitar strings I would suggest. If you use the 6th string, which would normally be an E on a 6-string guitar, and tune that down to D, and then use the 3rd string, which would normally be a G, and take that up to an A, and then the 1st string, which is normally an E, and you could take that down to a D. So they're quite similar. So that would give you a nice spread. So using the 6th, the 3rd and the 1st string of a 6-string set. If you wanted something with a bit more bass, you could use the 6th, 5th and 4th strings. Now the 6th, 5th and 4th are E, A and D. So that would be D, A, D. You'd just be dropping one of the strings down. I think that would work quite well actually to have a kind of close selection of tuning. But then you could also have something much higher. So you could have 4th, 3rd and 1st string. So that would be, 1st string is E, 3rd string is G, 4th string is D. So that would be D, G, E normally. So you'd be doing D, A, D. You'd be taking the G up to an A and the E down to a D. I think that would work as well. So they would end up being much higher pitch. So this is the thing, when we talk about G, D, G tuning, normally with the 151 tuning, if you put your finger on the 7th fret, then you play the middle string. So 7th fret of the bass string is the same as the open string in the middle, and then 5th fret on the middle string is the same as the top string. I know some of you use the top string as this string because it's top from the ground, but I always think of the top string as the top sounding string. Sorry if I'm confusing you. So, but of course you could have the 7th string and then have this string a whole octave up. So you could have, instead of it sounding like this as your D, A, D, you could have, I'm doing it by actually fretting at the 12th fret to take it up an octave. That gives you a sound. You might think that that's quite a nice sound. I quite like them a bit closer together. As I say, I don't like this D, A, D tuning. I'm going to go up again. Right, so as I was saying, you could have these 2 stop strings a whole octave higher by using like the top string of a 6-string guitar on that string there. So then that would naturally sound so much higher. So I tend to have this. So these 2 notes are the same. These 2 notes are the same. I have them all within that octave. So there's only an octave between the notes, but you could have a much bigger spread. That's what I'm trying to say. My website has a very comprehensive 9 different tunings, I think it's called, for cigar box guitar, and that's got tunings for 3-string and 4-string guitars. So have a look if you're interested, and I have got some indication of what string gauges to use. I've basically done them by using the 6 strings of a normal 6-string guitar set, just so that you know easily. I mean, I can go into all the gauges, but it's much easier to just buy, if you're experimenting with lots of different tunings, just buy a set of 6 strings for a 6-string guitar and use them, and you can experiment. But I was really pleasantly surprised by how some of those different tunings just sounded really, really good and really not too difficult to play. So I think I'm going to explore them, and actually I'll do some videos and some blog posts about those different tunings, give you some ideas of things you could play. Bye for now.